It's a star-studded night in Akron, Ohio, as a who's who list of revelers, all dressed to the nines, are ready to cut a rug, celebrate nearly 2 decades of the Summa Health Sapphire Ball.
Removing our masks because we are practicing social distancing for our show. I'm Cliff Devaney, President and CEO of Summa Health. We're all dressed up and ready to celebrate COVID style. Welcome to what is sure to be a box office smash, the premiere of Summa Health's Sapphire Ball, the movie.
I'm Dave Lieberth, and I was privileged to be the Master of Ceremonies for the very first Sapphire Ball, and I emceed several others over the last 19 years. We are at the Akron Civic Theater. Built as a movie house in 1929, for 91 years it has been Akron's jewel on Main Street. As Dr. Devaney and I relax in this Moorish garden with the stars twinkling overhead and the clouds moving by, we're reminded of how lucky we are to have one of only 16 atmospheric theaters in the United States.
While we're unable to celebrate together in person this year, we are happy to take you, our supporters, and our friends on a nostalgic cinematic journey through nearly 2 decades of spectacular Sapphire Balls. The Sapphire Ball is the premier event to attend in Akron, and everyone feels good about attending, knowing that they are helping Summa serve our community. And who better to talk about the impact of the ball on our community than 2 of our special guests who have a personal message to all of our viewers. Summit County Executive Eileen Shapiro and Anthony Lockhart, Chair of the Summa Health Board of Directors. Both are zooming in COVID style.
Hello, I'm Eileen Shapiro, your Summit County Executive. Today I am so excited to support Summa Health with all of you. Summa Health is an extraordinary community asset that touches our lives in so many ways, is one of the county's largest employer, and our region's largest safety net provider, serving all patients who are in need of care. Every day, Summa Health employees live their commitment to the families of our community, and every year the Sapphire Ball brings us all together in support of that commitment. Thank you, Summa Health, for everything you do for Summit County residents and the residents of our neighboring counties. And thank you to the stars of tonight's movie premiere. That is all of you, the Summit County community.
Thank you, Cliff. I am thankful to all the generous folks who support the Sapphire Ball year after year. Your generosity has strengthened us in our mission to provide the highest quality, compassionate care. I commend all those who are making their big screen debut in the special tribute to the Sapphire Ball. You are all stars. Enjoy the movie.
Our thanks to Anthony Lockhart and to County Executive Eileen Shapiro. And now, it's on with the show. So in true movie fashion, grab your popcorn, settle in as we stroll down memory lane with the chairs of Sapphire Balls past. And you'll want to stay tuned in because we're saving the best for last. Video memories of you and your friends dancing the night away at the Night Center as we recall the great entertainment that we've enjoyed in years past.
We also have a lot to celebrate right in the here and now. So if you have champagne or a Pabst Blue Ribbon on hand, or whatever beverage of choice, put it on ice for a very special toast later in the show.
And whether you've attended just one or all of the Sapphire Balls, everybody's got a memory. So Cliff, how many have you attended and what's your special memory?
Dave, I attended at least 10 or more of the different Sapphire Balls. Probably the one with the greatest memories was the opening of the new Brennan Critical Care Tower, where we had our early reception, and then we all sauntered over to the 120-degree tent on the outside of the 95 Arch Street parking lot. It was quite a night.
I'll bet. Well, we've been so fortunate over the years to have such dedicated supporters to serve as chairs of the Sapphire Ball. And while each one remembers many terrific moments, we challenged them to recall that one special memory that stands out. Let's roll the film.
Hi, I'm Pam McMillan, and I have the great honor of chairing the very first Sapphire Ball. Our committee was a wonderful group of hardworking women from the Women's Board, the Junior Board, and the community. Our mission that very first year was to raise as much money as we could for our new critical care center. As a former nurse, I truly know how important these services are. And when the whole event was over, to receive a phone call from Ann Brennan, who said, "We raised more money in our very first event than any other event in the city of Akron," was absolutely thrilling.
When the critical care pavilion was completed and we had the opening celebration on campus of that event, both David and I were so overjoyed to know that this building would provide services to so many critically ill Akronites and others and offer the healing that Summa is so well known for.
I'm John Pavloff. My late wife, Sue, was the honorary chair of the Sapphire Ball in 2007. So the Sapphire Ball really was a labor of love for Sue. It was a continuation of a lifetime of support for Summa. She never stopped appreciating the mission of Summa and its importance for our community. You know, Sue's involvement with the Sapphire Ball gave me an appreciation for how much time and effort goes into creating such a special event that gives the entire Summa community something to look forward to and a way to help Summa as it continues to fulfill its mission and serve the community.
My name is Donna Loomis, and I chaired the Sapphire Ball in 2008. The best memory I can give you of the 2008 ball was that Hurricane Ike came through that day. How many times does Akron have a hurricane visit? It did that Saturday. And the entire parking lot at 55 Arch was tented for the ball. The gods had to be with us. Just before the dedication of the Cooper Cancer Center, the sun came out, the rain had stopped, and it was a lovely evening. At about 2 in the morning, the rains began again. So, you know, the skies were taking care of Summa that evening.
I'm Julia Bianchi, and I was very honored to serve as the chair of the Sapphire Ball in 2009. One of the highlights in the gala of 2009 was having Savannah Brinson, now Mrs. LeBron James, serve as our patron chair. It was particularly special that evening because the LeBron James was standing there on the podium as Savannah delivered her remarks, completely supporting her and making it her night, not his night. The other thing about that evening that resonates so well is we had a terrific band, and we literally had to turn on the lights at the convention center and tell everyone to go home because the party was over. The band was finished playing. People would have kept going all night. It was a late night for Akron, Ohio.
In the year 2010, which was my chair year, we kept to the theme of magical as much as we could in every way, in decor, in the dancing of beautiful dancers in the early part of the evening. And then, of course, the real magic also happened at the end of the evening. This is after people were dancing on the dance floor like crazy people. And then another set of curtains opened, and there was this wonderful dessert buffet. That table was 3.5 miles long. All kinds of torts and pies and cream puffs and everything you can imagine was there. That was your late night snack that you should never really have, but boy, was it good.
I'm Holly Wilt. And I'm Steve Wilt. We were the chairs of the Summa Sapphire Ball in 2012. My initial reaction when we were asked to chair the Sapphire Ball was a little bit of trepidation.
800 people? No problem.
Yeah, for me the special memory was when I was addressing the crowd. You know, anytime you get to speak to almost 1,000 people is pretty exciting.
And it felt like at the Academy Awards. And there was this photo booth at the end, and at long last, we got to relax. And then it became fun for us.
Were you dancing?
Were we dancing?
Yes, we were dancing that night.
Yeah, we
Holly
were.
and I don't typically dance, but that night, because we were chairs, the foundation staff insisted on us being one of the first ones out there. So we did lead the way to get people onto the dance floor.
It's really great to hear from these volunteer leaders who have spent countless hours making sure that each and every year's Sapphire Ball is magical. In 2009, our patron chair was Savannah James. She served with event chair Julia Ray Bianchi, and that night Savannah was accompanied by her very tall, very accomplished husband, the kid from Akron we know as LeBron. Savannah asked me to extend her greetings to our audience tonight. For years, this annual tradition has raised important funds and spearheaded important conversations so that good health may be a reality for all. As proud as I was to be a Summa Health Sapphire Ball chair, I'm even more proud today to play a small part in honoring the incredible work that Summa has always done for our community.
Wow, thank you, Savannah, for that lovely reflection. And we also have a message from another special chair, Brenda Cummins, who phoned in this memory from the Sapphire Ball 2002.
One of the things I like best about the Sapphire Ball is that it has stood the test of time. It has been the signature event for Summa Health System and has raised millions and millions of dollars, but more importantly, raised awareness of what our community needs are in healthcare. And our community has stepped up year after year after year. One of my fondest memories of all of the Sapphire Balls was in 2004. That was when we hit the cumulative total of $1 million that was raised for the Critical Care Center. So the four chairs got up on stage and we presented a really large check to Tom Strauss, celebrating, the 4 years of fundraising for the tower. And I think that's my favorite memory.
Thank you, Brenda. Fun times at the ball are only possible with our supporters. We have so many to be thankful for. Joining us in the limelight tonight is Nick Browning, president of Huntington Bank, Akron Region, a longtime diamond sponsor of the Sapphire Ball. Nick is here tonight to represent Huntington Akron Foundation, which this year gave a generous gift of $50,000 to the Summa Health COVID-19 Response Fund. Welcome, Nick.
Hi, Cliff. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be with you. You know, Huntington Bank and Summa really share a purpose of looking out for people and really doing the right thing. And I know that, providing health care for all, regardless of their ability to pay, is certainly the right thing to do. And that takes money. And that's where the Summa Sapphire Ball since 2001 has provided a great source of income. Today's environment, the COVID environment, has really created a lot of challenges around health disparity. It's made it apparent in behavioral health especially. Right. And so I'm personally excited to see what's next for Summa Health in the area of behavioral health. And on behalf of all of my Huntington colleagues, it's a pleasure to work with Summa.
Well, thank you, Nick, for all your service to Summa Health, to Huntington Bank, and to the Huntington Akron Foundation for all you've done for us all these years. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
We are also grateful for the Akron Beacon Journal, the House of LaRose, and Sandy and Tony Solero, who are director-level sponsors of tonight's movie.
And Cliff, we want to thank you and Sandy also for participating at the director's level of tonight's sponsors.
And we're glad to do it, Dave, and honored to be in the company of all of our generous sponsors and supporters of tonight's movie. Stay tuned for a complete list.
Our friends and benefactors frequently ask us, how can they help Summa Health continue to serve our community? So we have that opportunity tonight through Text to Give. Now, somewhere nearby you in your house right now, there's a cell phone, so find it and follow along with us. It's a simple 3-step process. The directions are on your screen right now. Step 1, send a new text message to 91999. That's 91999. Now, step number 2, in the message field, enter Summa, all caps or no caps or an initial cap, it really doesn't matter. Step 3, hit send. Then within seconds, there it is, you'll get a link. The link takes you to the screen where you can complete your gift at your convenience.
Well, Dave, before our intermission break, we were watching clips of past chairs reminiscing about their special year at the helm of the Sapphire Ball. Let's cue up some more of these special moments.
I'm Lori Crone.
And I'm Mark Crone, and we were chairs of the 2013 Summa Sapphire Ball. My greatest memory of the event was hitting that $1 million goal. There was just so much disbelief because we'd never been anywhere close before. And when we hit it, there was such joy and elation, and the room just went crazy.
My fondest memory of the Sapphire Ball that year was looking across the room, seeing all of the smiling faces, the dance floor packed, and Kool and the Gang on the stage. It can't get better than that.
Hi, I'm Janine Marks.
Hi, I'm Steve Marks, and we were 2014 chairs of the Sapphire Ball.
Our most favorite memory from Sapphire Ball was when the night of Sapphire Ball was the same night as the homecoming dance, father-daughter dance at the high school with our youngest Brady. And we put together a great plan. Steve, tell them about it.
Well, we had our presentation at the Sapphire Ball. We had a car waiting. We got in the car. We went to Revere High School. We had my dance with my daughter. Got back in time just to see Michael Stanley start their set, and it was a perfect conclusion to the evening.
And no one even knew we were gone.
Mission Impossible has nothing on us.
I'm Kathy Testa.
And I'm Paul Testa. And we were both chairs of the Sapphire Ball, 2016.
The theme of that ball was the Roaring '20s, and our entertainment was Jay Leno. It was the party of the year. My memory from the evening that I remember is that Cleveland Indians were in the playoffs. They were playing the Cubs. It was game 4, and they put large monitors or TVs in the bar area. At the end of the evening, you know, after everyone dances, they were all in the bar watching the end of the game, which Cleveland won and went up 3-1. Cubs won the whole thing, but we won't talk about that. But I love that everyone stayed and everyone enjoyed each other. It was a wonderful evening.
We couldn't kick them out because we were feeding them booze too at the same time. So I wanted to go home. It's enough. Well, then we went back to the hotel downtown where Jay was staying and a number of our guests, and went till 3 o'clock in the morning, I think, smoking cigars. I shouldn't say that in front of my doctor. Having fun.
My wife and I, Dee Dee Andrioli, so honored and so enthusiastic and so happy to be chosen as chairs for the 2017 Sapphire Ball. Our favorite memory, without question, was singing from the podium, Sugar Pie, Honey Bunch by the Four Tops. She's got a great voice, pulled it off, and there was a lot of clapping. It was great.
And you sang too?
No, I did not. No. Dee Dee can sing, I cannot sing. It was a hit, it was great.
Do you remember this face? I'm Tom Knoll.
And I'm Jenny Knoll. We were chairman of the 2018 Sapphire Ball. And the theme was a Venetian masked ball.
And we had an absolute blast.
We did. Apollo's Fire was the band, and people just kept on dancing. You know, they just wanted to keep going on, and that was the fun part. People really had a good time.
The night was over and the band was playing the last song. And then they finished and there was some woman out in the crowd saying, "No, we just need one more song." I looked out and that person who was yelling that out was Phyllis Ferrara.
I'm Regina. I'm Bob Cooper. We were last year's chairs for the 2019 Sapphire Ball.
The theme was Moonlight and Magnolias.
To honor Regina's Southern heritage and also to honor the work that we have done in cancer. And this particular year, we were focused on cancer supportive services. I thought it was a real reflection of how Regina and I felt about Summa. And it was fun because everybody there seemed very into the theme. The food was great.
Actually, when I saw the hummingbird cake as dessert, I thought, I'm home. This is it. I love it. Everybody was in such good spirits. And it just made it a wonderful evening.
Oh, hello. Welcome back. Those were some really even more terrific memories from the incredible chairs. We are so grateful for all they do for Summa Health. Take Paul Testa, for instance. He was chair with his wife, Kathy, in 2016. And this year, he's just a day player on our set. We've assigned him to the cleanup crew. And I have to say, he's doing pretty well.
Thanks a lot.
Paul.
Yeah. Your wife's told me what slobs you guys are.
Well, Cliff, you and I have known Paul for quite a while. And I remember when he was the president of the board of the Akron Civic Theater. Oh. He provided a lot of the leadership that led to all of this being redone.
Yeah.
But his dedication really knows no bounds. Because just before we got started tonight, I went back towards the soundboard here, and there was Paul on his hands and knees,
scrubbing,
picking up beverage cups and popcorn containers. He was even scraping some chewing gum off a seat.
Yeah, they told me this was going to pay better than this, too.
I said, you're a distinguished businessman. You're an accomplished developer and builder. You don't have to do this, Paul. Give it up. Don't do this anymore. And he looked up at me and he said, what? And leave show business?
Boy, that Paul. So, Dave, you emceed the ball for many years, and can you share with me your favorite memories?
Yeah, there's one, Cliff, and it was that very first year, September 29th, 2001. The week before the ball, I had produced a community commemoration at E.J. Thomas Performing Arts Hall so that Akron could come together to honor those who had died on September 11th in that horrific incident in New York City. So on Saturday night, the 29th, we were very much mindful that it had been just 18 days since one of the worst days in our history. You know, on that same night, Saturday Night Live recognized that we had to move on with our lives lest the terrorists win. So we celebrated those first responders in New York and in Akron who put their lives on the line every day for us. We began the evening with a moment of silence, and then we reminded ourselves that we had to find the joy in our own lives. And we had a wonderful evening, dining with our Summa friends and colleagues all together as we and the nation began to heal.
Well, you know, Dave, the ball certainly holds a lot of memories for all of us. And it is also a celebration of our community's generosity. All proceeds support the important work of Summa Health. And that is expressed very eloquently by our co-chairs of the 2015 Sapphire Ball, Alyssa and Rob Briggs, who wrote us with this reflection. And let me get that letter. We were thrilled and honored to be asked to chair the 2015 Sapphire Ball because the event was intended to raise attention and funding for behavioral health. We believe in the importance of removing the stigma often associated with mental health. We are proud of the fact that Summa Health is extraordinarily proactive in the integration of its behavioral health services with traditional medicine.
And we need to thank Alyssa and Rob for that very thoughtful message, and certainly the real beneficiaries of all the services supported by the Sapphire Ball are our patients. And now Summa Health's very own Dr. Lydia Cook, president of the Summa Health Medical Group, is making a cameo appearance in our movie to share some of their very inspirational stories.
I might be on center stage at our movie right now, but the spotlight belongs on the cast of thousands of Summa physicians, clinicians, nurses, and support staff, and who are grateful for the Sapphire Ball and all of the services and programs it makes possible. This support enables us to provide the best care to our patients we are privileged to serve. Every year at the Sapphire Ball, we highlight courageous patients and their inspirational stories, and here are just a few of them.
I had no idea that I could actually schedule an appointment to at the Women's Health Center without insurance, but I found out that I could, and that put my mind at ease.
Without the services that were offered, I would not be sitting here today with the hope that I have in my life. I can't thank Summa's clinic enough.
It was a normal day. The kids were playing. All of a sudden, I felt something was off, and I realized I was bleeding. And I said to the maternity nurse, don't let us die. And she said, I promise we won't. And then that was it. I woke up 2 days later. Summa made a scary, traumatic experience into a positive experience. They saved mine and my daughter's life.
We took care of my mom at home until she got to that point where we knew it was time for her to go into hospice, and she went to Summa. They took us under their wings and brought us in and made it the most peaceful, comfortable 5 days to just all be there and be with her and accept that this is her end of her journey.
They keep telling me I'm a miracle person and surpassed the great odds. The Summa nurses and the doctors saved my life. They did it.
From about the age of 16, I started dealing with depression. I actually came up with a plan for suicide.
But hope has a way of turning its face to you just when you least expect it.
At Lindsay's darkest hour, Summa was her beacon of hope.
The Center for Traumatic Stress at Summa has most certainly given me back my life.
This is where the healing begins. Oh, this is where the healing starts. When you come to where you're broken within, the light meets the dark.
53-year-old George Conkle had suffered a debilitating stroke that would forever change his and his family's lives. They embarked on a medical journey together with their Summa Health primary care physicians.
They dealt with our mental, our emotional, and our physical well-being. They've saved who we are now. He will always be my dad.
'Cause I'll be by your side wherever you fall, and please don't fight these hands that are holding you.
It's all about people taking care of people, and that's what Summa does.
My hands are holding you.
I always lived a healthy lifestyle, and when I got the news that I had cancer, I didn't know what the rest of my life was going to be.
We were at the right place, and I wouldn't have her go anywhere else. We kicked cancer's butt every way to Sunday.
And the army of people at Summa was amazing, and they helped me. Summa was a godsend to me, and I owe them everything. I'm cancer-free because of them.
I look at myself as a poster child today on what not to do while having a heart attack. I totally changed my lifestyle.
If I could say anything to the doctors and nurses at Summa, it would be that I'm blessed that they were in my backyard because they saved Jim's life.
That's our promise to all of our patients.
I promise.
They put in a stent, saved my life. I promise.
My heart is back to pumping better than ever.
We promise. To care. To care for you.
They're the reason why I'm as healthy as I am now.
You're in the right place.
Summa is the right place.
Summa, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll say it was a 20.
And that's our promise.
That's our promise.
Yes, they did save my life.
That's the miracle.
When you hear the word cancer, you're not expecting that word. You're in shock. That's not what you expected at this time in your life. The doctors and nurses that work at the Cooper Cancer Pavilion were there for me when I needed them. The whole supportive services team, it's like they were just my own cheerleading team. They were just there for me. And I have great plans for my family, and now I know I'm gonna be there every step of the way with them.
Jamie joins countless cancer patients, grateful for the Summa Cancer Institute treating them mind, body, and spirit.
For me, I really needed help with the financial aid, and Debbie was right there for me.
Summa held my hand.
I'm planning on living till I'm about 120. I am a survivor of breast cancer.
I'm always touched by these heartfelt stories in our own patients' words, and we know they speak for countless other patients we serve each and every day.
That's for sure, Cliff. And Sapphire Ball, the movie, has really been a blockbuster so far, flashing back to nearly 2 decades of the ball. So now it's time to look forward to next year. and we're delighted to be joined by Sandra and Richie Smith.
Welcome.
Chairs for Sapphire Ball 2021. So, Sandra and Richie, what can you tell us about next year's ball?
Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Cliff. Sandra and I are looking forward eagerly to a fun-filled evening for the Sapphire Ball 2021, and we are privileged to serve as the co-honorary chairman.
For inspiration, we want you to think New York remembered, the era of top hat, white tie, and tails, and all the ambience of New York and Broadway in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
The highlight of the gala will be the recognition of the Summa Health Emergency Group and celebrate the renewal of the residency program.
Yeah, that's a great night.
In the meantime, we encourage you to make a gift to help Summa Health continue its care of our community.
Thank you so much for both of you
Thank
for all
you.
you're doing. Sharing his talents with Sandra and Richie in 2021 will be Jim Simon, fundraising committee chair, who has done a fabulous job since 2019. Let's zoom to Jim for a special message.
I'd like to thank all supporters of past Sapphire Balls for helping to raise nearly $12 million for our community since 2001. I've been honored to play a role in that success, and I look forward to seeing what we'll raise together in 2021.
What a great team. Thanks to Sandra, Richie, and Jim. It's going to be a terrific ball to look forward to. And indeed, there's so much more on the horizon, promising a really bright future for Summa Health.
So everybody at home, here comes the audience participation part of the show. It's time to get up on your feet, and we're going to crack open that bottle of champagne or pour your beverage of choice for a very special toast from all of us to all of you.
And while all of you are grabbing that beverage from your home theater concession stand, we're going to invite Summa Foundation Board Chair Patrick O'Neill to join us for that toast. Patrick?
Hello everyone, it's great to be here to celebrate the Sapphire Ball, and I'm thrilled to be part of this very special toast.
Patrick, David, and everyone at home, please raise your glass to the true matinee idols of tonight's movie. The individuals, the organizations, the corporations and foundations of the greater Akron community that have so generously supported the Sapphire Ball for nearly 2 decades. To your health.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. And thanks to all of you moviegoers who have been texting in your gifts all evening. We are so very grateful, and keep them coming.
And as we cut to the final scene of our movie, we're going to be revealing some priceless archival film of you as we roll the credits. Credits for all of you who make the Sapphire Ball possible.
And as you know, it is our tradition at the Sapphire Ball to close out the program with entertainment. Who can forget all the favorite acts? The Four Tops, Frank Sinatra Jr., Michael Stanley, Jay Leno, Kool and the Gang, my favorite Apollo's Fire, and on and on and on. Well, tonight is no exception.
So, roll back the carpet and cut a rug in the privacy of your own home theater. You might even catch a glimpse of yourself and your friends dancing the night away. Cliff, thanks, good night, and good night, everyone.
And as they say in showbiz, ladies and gents, that's a wrap.
the ice and remember spice and my advice, 'cause oftentimes spice is nice.
Let's celebrate. Come on now. Celebrate good times. Come on. Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right.